y'all doing? This is Antonio Alacina in Masculine Militia.
Mm-hmm.
Masculine Militia.
Okay.
Okay, we got that.
We got
Okay,
that
good.
down.
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with some with what I wanted, you dig, which is some perspective having,
Oh.
intelligent Black women. And I wanted to, I'm really a little, now that I've got on this mic, I got a little shaky, got a little nervous or something. I'm usually not. But we're here, and the topic tonight is have Black women left Black men behind. And I know the topic, I want to jump straight into it. I know it deserves a lot of unpacking, you dig, because as a Black male, as a Black man myself, and observing several types of, like, I haven't had that issue. It's not an issue I've had. I haven't experienced it. I've had some very supportive Black women in my life. You dig. However, I don't live on an island, of course, and I know Black men, and of course Black women, who respectively have decided that they, in terms of Black women, have gone far enough or left Black men, say, I don't want to deal with them, I don't want to mess with them. And the reason they don't usually has something to do with what they believe or perceive Black men lack. What they believe or perceive Black men lack.
Like as a blanket.
Yes, because like even when I was talking to a dude, and this is a while ago, and we were having a conversation. He was like, "Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking to, I ain't dealing with Black women no more." He didn't use the word women. I ain't dealing with no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get me a Asian white girl or something, And my response was like, well, I asked him, I said, so that's how you feel? I said, bro, it really just sound like you just a weak ass nigga to me. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like weakness.
Mm-hmm.
You dig?
Mm-hmm.
Because to deal with Black women,
you can't be weak.
there has to be a degree of strength that
I
you
agree.
have, and it doesn't mean that Black women are not, or like there's this thing like like I don't like to hear Black women be talking about you can't handle me and all this other kind of stuff. Just to me, I'm not with that. However, as a discussion I was having with somebody today, Black women have gone through a lot to overcome.
Yes.
It's not like Black men haven't. However, at this point in our development, if I had to say, if when the world looks at us and when we look at each other, Black women seem to be coming out on a better end right now. You dig? Socially.
We winning right now.
Wait a minute. We have a little. Socially.
I'm listening.
Educationally. Labor. Anything that is dealing with this system that we are under. It's not that Black women don't suffer also. It's not. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that there is a perspective that says that you're ahead of Black men in almost every category that's measurable. And if that's the case, there's also this other, a tied perspective that says, well, since we're ahead of y'all, Black women talk. Y'all niggas need to come on, or we gonna just keep going. So let's talk about like relationships, for example. Like I love Black women. So it's not like I'm gonna be like, I don't consider white women. It's not a consideration.
Okay.
If I die without this thing that, and I don't think I will, called love or companionship or all these things, it will be in search of it with a Black woman. Period, point blank. There's no consideration of being with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. However, in my view, when you make considerations in this context that says, well, I'm not going to stick around and wait for black women talking, to give me those things or for me to get those things from them. I'm going to go see if I can get it from somebody else. I had this kind of thing where it feels like that is leaving black men. Because I'm not leaving you. Regardless. It ain't that I haven't had my feelings hurt by black women, that I haven't been tricked, that I haven't, not much, but it's not that I haven't had those things happen to me too, but I still didn't consider leaving black women in no way. So that's the first part. But let me say this right quick, and then we're going to get to y'all, because I'm going to kind of like be quiet. Because I took some notes. You dig? And there was this, you had it on your page, Eddie, and I commented on it because I was thinking about it already. And then someone sent it to me. And it was this guy talking about why black women, in terms of, not that being single, like I was saying last time y'all were here, not that being single is some evil thing. Right. You know, if you're single, you just say I'm single. You know what I'm saying? But, in this thing, like, well, this, that, and the other, and that's why you single. Like, I really hate that.
It's an attack.
It is, but it's like, it shouldn't be because
correct, because there's nothing wrong with it.
Like, well, yeah, right.
Make it seem like something's wrong.
Right. It means like it's a defect or something. It's not. However, the state of male-female relationships with black men and women has it where it seems, in context, that black women statistically lag in the only statistic that we can really see, and that's marriage. Like, black women don't get married more than these other people, more than white women, and I don't necessarily think that's because black women are unwanted. However, there is a point to be made, as my man was saying, that black women are not trained.
Oh,
wait a minute.
What video I missed it?
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'm gonna talk about not that.
I need to see
that, but no. I use the word train. I don't know, y'all like the word train? Oh, okay. But to see, the issue is it true though?
That we're not raised
to be a helpmate? Because if you raised to be independent. Wait a minute, I'm going to let y'all do all the talking in a minute. If you're raised to be independent, if you're raised to do it yourself, if you're raised to, not that hasn't been somewhat of a necessity. I'm not saying that life in America has not made that a necessity in some way.
Right.
So if you are raised with that necessity, how does that shape you when it comes to engaging a man? Because my whole thing is, it's like I did a solo podcast and I was talking about alpha male, which I don't believe in the hierarchy, of alpha and all that. And then you have women who say, I'm an alpha female.
People love to repeat stuff.
I'm an alpha female. I'll be like, and I like in the presence of a man.
I think that they mean in the context of women.
I'm
the type of woman who takes charge like an alpha male would. I think it's just a comparison, not in comparison to.
And I get that part. No. I get that part, but my whole thing is like, first of all, I don't believe in the alpha hierarchy, period. The alpha, betas, all that stuff. I mean, if you're a masculine man, then you don't need to be an alpha, because you got the alpha is really like the construct that was created for not even black men. It was created for white men because they got it from the study of animals, from apes and wolves. They weren't even talking about us. They were talking about them. And then we want to, pick it up like, no, but if you got enough masculinity, that's what they were trying to mimic, something that they didn't have. So they created a construct and they called it alpha, beta. Okay, but so now we got, like I said, So my thing is like, you an alpha female. Okay, but when I say in the presence of a man, I understand this among women thing.
It's not among women. I look at it as just a definition of what type of woman you might be. Some women are meek. Some women don't like to take charge. Some women like, we're doing this, y'all. Let's go. You know what I mean?
But even if you're that, the issue, because that's another. But even if you are alpha female or whatever, that is. I think my thing is like, what is it as you're raised to be an independent Black woman, a strong Black woman?
You said, what is it like?
Well, no. Oh. I'm not finished.
Oh, okay.
When you're raised to be those things, and I've seen women, I've experienced women who have been that and then have a issue or difficulty turning it off when a man is present. That's just in an individual way, culturally now. If you a Black woman, we talking about culturally, you've been raised to be this way, but you haven't been raised or have any knowledge of how to even conduct a relationship with a man.
And vice versa.
Wait, I'm talking about me yet. I'll get to me in a minute.
I'm just saying.
I say have Black women left Black men.
This is the problem though.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're gonna unpack it, is not just Black women. It's a combination of a few things. So going back to what you originally said, when you were speaking about Black women, the only category they're not winning, or the only category we can't lead in, is being married. Well, guess who we're waiting on? You know what I mean? Okay. Regardless of what you guys have to say about us, we control when we have sex, and you guys normally control when we get married. Okay. You're not marrying us.
No, I'll go for that.
You know what I mean? We can't make men marry us.
So being that we are not marrying you, so that just means there's a defect among Black men.
I'm not saying it's a defect.
I'm asking.
Nope, I'm not saying it's a defect, but the dots are not being connected. Because when I talk to most Black men, most of them will say, I've had a majority of good women in my life, more than not, right? Yeah. Right? So there's no reason why you haven't had an opportunity to lock one of these women down. Right? So I don't know why, but that falls there. Okay, I don't know why. I can't answer that.
Right. But the thing is, when you put it out there, that's the reason I asked why. Because, of course, I'm the same way. I think I said this to y'all.
I think it happens in, like you said, it's in the household. You know what I mean? If your mother wasn't married and there was no examples, or just not enough people, family members that you're seeing married that are talking to you about that, then you have no guidance. And then if you, depending on how dysfunctional your home is, then you out here fending for yourself. So that independence come in sometime forcefully because you have to do, and sometimes you're taught to do that. Yeah.
So my point is, even with that, and coming in with that too, is the culturally. See, this is happening, and this is what I hear a lot of Black women say. What you just said, and even some of what you said, in terms of having to have to do it myself. So now that it is such a thing that it's cultural. It ain't like some little bitty exceptions. This is a cultural thing. So since that's the case, is there a time when culturally, because I have to say culturally because everybody want to make it about an individual. It's like you just one person. We got a whole world out here that's moving and being pushed and motivated by a whole idea, not just some individual. So it's like, can we turn it off? Or do we need to turn it off in terms of this me being independent thing, and then I can't turn it off when I'm with a man?
It's a balance with everything, you know what I mean? You should learn how to be self-sufficient. And self-sufficient is one thing now. Going around like, I don't need a man, I don't need this and that. I mean, that's a whole different, that's something with some trauma behind it still, sounds like to me. But when you're in a place that you know that, hey, this is for me to be self-sufficient and I have room to, allow someone into my life, that's balance. But again, you can go back into trauma, period. What were you raised around? What did you see? And so now this little boy that used to get beat is about to be my fiance. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if he's really taking the opportunity to address that. Same thing with women. If people are not addressing their issues, and then the cycle just continues.
And I think people are growing out of marriage. I think that people are growing out of that construct, because at some point it was a point of survival.
True.
It was a point of, well, we need to stick together because all the forces of the world
economic and social
are against us. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It would there, and it was the thing to do.
It was a necessity.
It was a necessity,
Yeah.
and now people are just
so independent. Everybody.
and it's not a thing of I'm so independent that I don't want to be married. It might not be something that I'm interested in doing in terms of it might not be a bad thing to say, hey, you know what? We've been going in line A for so long. What if I stepped into line B?
Because marriage is push. Really, if you think about it, even if you didn't grow up with parents saying get married, you saw it, you heard it, the TV, everything, the Brady Bunch, everything was family.
Yeah. Everything is pushing you towards women get married, men get out there and run your life.
Even when we were children, the dolls, the Barbie dolls, and the Ken dolls, everything was pushed towards coupling.
Coupling.
And I think people are just becoming more aware, just to me more than ever,
Or do you think that maybe what's going on now is that our generation saw previous generations as this is what you do. You get married, you have kids, blah, blah, right? All of this. But that was based on such a lie.
Right.
It was based on images that they gave us, but didn't talk about stuff. You don't talk about stuff in your
that's
house.
going in.
You don't talk about this and what happened to you. All these things weren't being talked about. So these images is what we grew up, Huxtables and Brady Bunch, like, oh, we need to do that. But we were basing all that on lies to begin with.
Correct.
So the marriage that we were chasing after didn't even exist.
Right.
So now we're talking about it don't work.
Right.
And it's not that it don't work. It's that what we perceived didn't even exist
at all.
Right.
So we're chasing something that's a lie.
Correct.
And then we're saying we're broken when we're not.
Correct.
It's just
we're choosing something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? And I can.
And different sounds scary for a lot of people. Like when you talk to people about something like you've decided to do differently, and they like, girl, you gonna do that? Because right. And it's like, why not say, wow, that's brave of you, or whatever it is.
Because
it just
you have to take into account who you're talking to.
Exactly.
And how they live their lives.
Yep.
And how if they take risks or they don't, then they're not going to be willing to go along with you. And they're going to be like, be safe.
Right.
Don't do that. Because I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Not because it's a good idea. So.
But
I
always
take
look
that into consideration, because just even on a simple level of if you tell, that's why they say don't tell everybody what you're going to do, because they're going to give they're going to give you their unsolicited opinion on what you think, what they think you should be doing, and it's almost as if things have to be unlearned at some point, and it's okay to unlearn it, and I think it goes back to the subject of I don't think anybody's leaving anybody behind. I think at the end of the day, we're evolving and we're changing and we're growing and we're doing it on an individual on an individual basis.
The divine feminine is rising.
We're walking this path, and we have two different experiences.
Correct.
Black men are such. Black women are such, and I don't like to see it as we're leaving black men behind. For me, it's no, we just arrived to this part maybe before you did, but we bringing you along. We're not going anywhere without you. We just got here first. So for it to seem like, are we leaving you behind, would perceive that, it's a competition. Correct. Or it's us against them. And that's not what it is for me at all.
Right. And but see, this is where I'm kind of going to. Because, evolution, yes. Arriving at a particular point in our development or our evolution before another, yes. Now, what kind of mind, what kind of thinking do you have? Like when you say, well, you know what, we're going to bring you along too.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm there first, you come. And if you're there first, I expect you to
But
come
you,
get me.
but you're gonna have to reach too. You know what I mean?
I get that. See, I guess
that black woman thing.
but see, this is the thing. When I'm thinking about it, when you're thinking about it, when I'm looking at something, I'm not necessarily thinking about it how I see it. I know how I see it. But I am looking at the world Because although we want to push this thing of individuality, I really don't think it's a whole lot, but that's a whole nother subject.
Seems like a lot, but it's not.
But there is a cultural way that we move. Mm-hmm. It is not like I can say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I feel like this, I feel like that. Yes. This is my perspective. Yes. But what's moving the world? That's what I'm talking about. I understand we got our own thing. I understand that when you say, well, black women, we just got there first. We evolving and we're going to do this. But is that our condition? Is that what's happening in the world? Is that what's happening among us? Because when I'm looking, let me tell you something. When I'm looking at some of this stuff, particularly on social media, and of course I don't like to take social media and make it and put it up like this, but there's so many people that I observe there, and as you all know, it's so much negativity. It's hardly anything that comes across that is really just really positive. And then even the positive things that people do, even people put affirmations up, like they'll get ridiculed. It's like
they don't get no likes.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice
it's like I
have a pretty nice timeline.
Yeah. I mean, no. I'm just saying you.
Oh.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about
maybe some ratchet stuff every now and then, but
I'm talking about when you look at like
right, exactly.
Like for example, before I opened my Instagram up or because I had it private. There were certain things that I didn't get because people would send me friend requests, I ignore it. Follow, I'm not following you. I don't want you on my thing, whatever. But then I opened it up because I really want to see. And then I even before then, I was going to places to look, Facebook groups that we were in and all this kind of stuff. And then you see what is happening, and it's all this. It's so negative. I'm looking at this. What's this IG thing? Page Shade Room. Yeah. Y'all see that?
No.
It don't, man, ain't nothing on it but negative shit.
Oh, you said. Oh, I know what it is about. Yeah, no, I know what it is.
That's my point. That's my point.
All the gossip you want to know.
Yeah.
About.
Okay. But this right here is what moves the culture.
But it moves every culture. Jerry Springer, them, everybody.
Okay, so
this
is the thing.
Pleasures.
This is the thing I'm saying. Okay. It moves the culture. I'm not. You got more. You got all these people but I'm saying this is the thinking. This is the mentality that's moving the culture. Not we're evolving. I see marriage different. Blah blah blah. We just got there, or we just getting there before, and we're gonna blah. I ain't talking about that because the culture is moving. Now it's good to give these perspectives. That's why I wanted you here. But I want these perspectives. But I want us to understand that these perspectives, in my view, are segment. They are exception. They're the minority. You dig? To say what you're saying, these are minority perspectives. These are not the kind of broad perspective. Then even when they're brought to the broad or the broader audience, at some point it's going to get ridiculed. Because people ridicule these positive perspectives or the progressive perspectives.
They ridicule Jesus. And
we know it happens, but the point is that when I say have black women left black men behind, it's not that I think that black women have. But there is a culture out here where it is seemingly happening. I'm going to give you an example. What's this guy named Tristan Thompson?
Do people believe that?
Yeah, some people believe that.
I mean,
I've seen black women who
is it a majority
who say
thing?
That. I don't know if it's majority.
Right, because I'm trying to think I think because you have a little bit of everything. You got people that don't want to be married. You got people that want to be married. Everybody has a different take on it. But is it like the majority of it saying?
Black women leaving black men, is it a majority thing?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I think it's what it's broadcasted to be, like anything else. Every train wrecks are always broadcasted before any positive news is broadcasted. So, in terms of the culture and how we're moving, being that we're not a monolithic group in the first place, you know, sometimes I stop saying we. Because I don't know what everybody's doing out in these streets.
Right.
And mostly don't even care at this point. Because guess who has to live and die for Lisa?
Yeah.
Lisa. Right. And, you know, it takes on too much on my shoulders to try to move a culture.
Yeah.
I can move me, and I can lead by example.
Yeah.
So that those want to follow you
will follow suit. And that's because they see something in themselves that says, hey, I can do that, or that looks familiar, or I'm not scared to make that type of move.
Oh, that's easy.
She did it. Or, you know, I've been doing something along those lines. But as far as a whole culture.
Okay. Check this out. Like somebody that I can see, especially late in my old man years. When I was young.
Old man years.
Right. I'm like, when you get old?
I mean, I'm just saying, in my now older years.
Older years, okay.
You dig? When I'm from Atlanta, right? So when I was growing up, and there was no rapid rail, you know.
What high school did you go to?
Northside High School. I went to George, went to Brown, and ended up at Northside High School. And there was no rapid rail, so there was no train, you know. It was just the bus. And so when I was very little and I used to go, I was 8 years old, like at the Capitol with Hosea Williams and them, and I was by myself. Nobody tell me to go. Yeah. It wasn't that, it was me. I was interested in those things. Then. I would catch the bus.
For some reason, it was normal for an 8-year-old to just go downtown, walk, ride a
bus.
Back then, I don't know why.
Yeah. Because I was all over at 5 and 6.
My mother never knew where I was.
Right.
I was like 7. I was downtown.
You know what I'm saying? So I would go. I go pay the bills at City Hall. You know what I'm saying? I'm 9 years old.
Right.
And I came from the other side of town.
Yes.
That was just me.
Right.
So
with no phones.
Well, none of that stuff, you know what I'm saying?
No phone.
You got home.
Ain't nobody calling you.
None of that.
Can't find you.
Don't know where you at.
Yes.
You dig? So I'm living like this. I'm 8 years old. I'm going, you know, to these rallies and stuff, you know. I came up without giving all this stuff, you know, and as an activist. This is what. So my thinking has always been, it's something I have in me that I've identified that makes me see the world and want to and desire to give it something out of me that would help advance it positively, period. Particularly after I had a child. Because this is nothing against women who had children. But I just don't believe you know love until you have a child, until you parent a child. You can think you do. But when you get one of them, you be like, oh, this is different. And I've said that to women, be like, and then they have a child and be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And
just take it as something you just don't know if you don't know.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like being married if you ain't married. If you never been married, you
just don't know.
You just don't know. So, but my point is that I shouldn't say never. I don't think in terms of me as an individual, because I know that there are many things that influence me as an individual and the world. Yes, I have to be who I am, and then others can see, because I'm at this point in my older age, where I'm not really interested in waking people up anymore. It's like, if you're not already kind of up or stirring something, you know, go ahead and sleep on sleep.
Jay-Z said it best.
I can understand
only
that.
21 and older. Let somebody else mold them. I don't need all that.
And that's what I meant when you said the black woman thing is, when I said you got to reach, I'm just saying you can't be like, man, I don't know, you know. You got to want.
You gotta have
if you got a little bit of mustard seed, then I'm like, okay, let me tell you what the plan is.
There's a woman for him.
Exactly.
The ones that don't reach. There's somebody.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's a dog. There's a house for every dog. Yeah. There's a home for every dog.
Yeah, because because I know that there's some things I might try to reach somebody, and I realized a long time ago that it may not be me. Mm-hmm. It might be somebody else that can get you, because I can't.
Yeah.
That's face value.
Yeah. So I get that.
And I'm okay with it.
And I am. And I'm straight.
I'm okay. Right.
It's not a fit.
Yeah.
Yet, my thinking is still universal. When I look at things, because, for example, I want black people to be free. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it. It's not like I want to be free. Yeah, I want to be free. I look at black people and say, I want black people to be free. Because I know, according to the narrative, when I drive down the street and this cop pulled me over, according to the narrative, guess what? He's not looking at me as an individual. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of things that come with that. Mm-hmm. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So so as far as the individual thing is concerned, it's like there's an aspect of that, but there's a world that is here that affects your individuality in ways that you may not like if you really want to examine it. However, be you. But when I'm looking at black women, I see this example. What the hell? I see this example because no nation rises any higher than this woman. If we are part of black people, if the black woman is disrespected, rejected, and despised, that means we are.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying? Exactly. So she has to be here.
Exactly.
So when I say, when I'm thinking, have black women left black men behind? It's not just socially. Mm-hmm. I'm saying spiritually also. Because I'm going to tell you something. I look at black women as the standard. Meaning, when people say I have standards, the woman is the standard.
I think that if I could speak for black women for like 2 seconds.
No, just your individual self. I'm just kidding.
I think like black men probably have an overall opinion of black women, whatever that is.
Right.
I'd say that black women have that for black men as well. But we're not going anywhere. I think that generally most black women feel like, what you about to do? You know what I mean? What game you gonna play?
Right.
And maybe white women think that about white men.
Yeah, we don't know that. That's what I'm saying. Because they have their own set of problems.
I'm planning on having some a white women panel. I mean, a white people panel.
Let me tell you, I know some white women because people are like, do you have any white friends? Do I have white friends?
Right.
I'm from California. I have white friends.
You got white
friends. I got Spanish friends. I got
everybody.
Yeah, everybody. So they have the same problems with black men.
Somebody cheating, somebody
white men that they date. So
it's not just a black.
What does that mean? It's not a black.
It's not a black problem. True.
Well, our problems are indicative to us. We are very, unique to us. But generally, no. Everybody's having problems. Everybody's probably marriage rates are dropping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you know what? There was also this other statistic that said that black women married to white men, that their marriages last longer.
I can see that.
Okay. I guess I can't.
But white interracial marriage?
I see some of them getting killed. You know what I'm saying? I see them under the barn. No.
No, interracial.
I'm talking about
getting killed.
Interracial, right?
I mean, I'm talking about interracial, but I'm talking about not everybody died. Everybody gets killed. But I'm saying that it happens.
Is everybody getting killed? I hope not.
Well, meaning like it's not just a white and black.
Right.
I'm saying it happens more so in terms of marriages.
Oh, in those marriages.
Than to do it black and black.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm saying.
So if it happened out of all the marriages that had happened, and it happened 400 more times.
That's more, ain't it?
It's more. Okay. Just like they say serial killers.
Well,
we actually have a lot of them too.
Yes.
Yes.
No, we have some.
We have more.
Wait a minute. I saw a sign that said
we have more than what we think.
1 out of 12 guys you've been out with is a serial killer.
Let me tell you something.
That's a statistic.
Let me tell you something. We came to this. Let me go back here for a second.
See.
I'm glad you got that on. We came to this place. Mm-hmm. We were brought here.
Okay.
By sociopaths and psychopaths.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So there is no equating.
We will never have
they
more.
Are
right,
and who we are.
Yeah.
If we are that, they made us that. Period. But
Okay.
Back to 1 out of 12.
Yeah, it was a commercial on TV. It was something they were just saying that, it's more common than you think. You know what I'm saying? So that makes you feel.
Not that it's more, but just that we overlook it completely. But we have, just like with mental health and suicide, and it's not that we're so much less. It's just that we overlook it. Don't talk about it. Don't tell nobody. You better not tell what happened in this house.
Exactly.
We've got different dynamics that hid the same issues.
No, we definitely have different dynamics, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm sorry. We have different dynamics. We do some of that to our detriment.
I'm not saying it's a more or less thing. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, but I don't want to equate it. Period.
It happens more than we like to feel like it happens to us.
Right. I'm sure we probably got
denial is a big problem in our culture.
Yeah, no, this is true. I guess really, sometimes the way you how you came up. I'm not going to broadcast, but I came up in a way where I saw a lot of things. So my perspective is a little different, and so it ain't that I heard. I saw and was there and so forth and so on. This is a culture that I lived in. So when people be like, it's this, like, no, it ain't what you think. I was, so it might be a lot of whatever. But let's get back, what I'm saying? Because I wanted to go here. Have black women left black men behind? I knew it was loaded, and I wanted to say it like that. Because there is a segment that I've observed, who actually feel like that's that they say, I ain't dealing with y'all. But then, of course, they're black men. Black men that there's this podcast where it was just recently, what's these cats call themselves? Fresh and Fit. I don't even want to say them, so I'm going to go see them anyway. Fresh and Fit. And they were talking about how they don't date black women, and they were using terms like darkies. These are black guys.
Oh, okay.
And they have a very popular podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how I don't know. And then of course it comes out when you with one of them, he pretty much that's all he is with is white people. He's just he got black skin, but he got white folk all over. That's all you. And they doing like half gay stuff. No, white boys, So, what they do, what I'm saying? Like I can never see no black dude coming behind me, pulling my shorts down, and they thinking that's funny. Like but I've seen these type of videos of white boys do, and they think it's funny. It ain't funny. You get killed. You understand what I'm saying? So there is this narrative of black men who don't like black women. And a part of these Negroes are just weak and whatever. But a part of their argument has to do with, it's a two-pronged argument. One, it was just really silly. One, they are saying that black women are not worthy. Like, they called them, in this particular part, they were talking about, they called black women like Laquitas and the darkies. They were using terms like this. This is nuts.
Poor self-hate.
Wow.
Yes, it was just crazy, right?
Poor
you look at people like that and you feel sorry for them because they don't know.
Yeah. It was like, and the thing is he said it, and then he has comments.
And
coming in.
That agree. That agree.
These Negroes, these black guys, agree. So I'm like,
I bet they all
are these guys? You know what? I wouldn't doubt that. In Cali.
But I lived in San Diego.
But on the other side,
they're not in style. We are not in style.
No, not in style. Oh, not in California.
No,
not in California. No. But on the other side, when black women in our society have, for the most part, we're not even talking about marriage, but statistically ahead of black men. Socially, economically, educational. Those are like the three major indicators of where we are.
And where, never mind.
Of where we are. No, go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Ask.
Like, I guess that would assume that the question is true.
Which question?
That black women have, because of
black women have done what?
The markers that you have are actually numbers and statistics, so that's true. Right. Okay. What I was going to ask is, why do you think that has happened that way?
Great question. Yeah. Because that, to me, that's the question. The question is not so much have black women left black men behind. It's a question, but then to unpack it, we have to see where we are. Mm-hmm. Like if black women have, if the question is have you left black men behind, it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, or just to ask the question, then we have to identify where we are. Mm-hmm. And so identifying where black women are as opposed to black men is necessary. And for example, and me and the fellas went into it last week just a little bit. Before, statistically, 1964, 79% of black households had two parents. Right? Something happened.
They used to make them get married.
Okay, but wait a minute.
There's a lot going on back then.
In the 1950s, 40s.
To have sex, you had to get married.
Wait a minute. There was a lot of people that had women. Babies out of wedlock. Although they were looked down upon.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. I get that. But there was a stigma behind it. So.
But you stayed in the house because even now, they say that's marriage. Because even now, you can't account for the two people that are still in the house, because there are people who are not married who still have two parent households. Mm-hmm. They're not really counted. Mm-hmm. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm not talking about that. I get that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. However, statistically, before 1964, there were two parents. There were a man and a woman.
Are we talking about marriage, or are we talking about two parents?
We talking about man and woman.
Okay.
And marriage, it's measured by statistics.
Are we counting, or are we not counting?
Right. To me, it's if they're married or not married.
No, married. That's what I'm saying, married.
Okay.
Just married.
You can really
that's the only way you can count it. Because socially, that's the correct way.
There may be many reasons why that occurred, but also because you can only start, at least from how I can't measure. I can only read and measure the marriage statistics, not the boyfriend girlfriend who had babies. They weren't counting those. Right, they weren't counting them.
So, but that's the two-parent household.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
They're going to rig the numbers now.
Right, but they weren't important.
Yeah,
married.
Because they were married, right.
So the numbers, of course, are going to look different.
Okay, of course, because I don't know what those numbers are,
right.
But they could have been more.
Right.
You dig? It could have been 90% of black households had two people, in the man and woman in the house as parents to children.
They got along, but they were there.
Right. You said in the household. That's all. You didn't ask nothing else.
Right. We didn't say we had to be friends.
Yeah.
Right.
But not only that, from the 1920s, that was the case until the mid 1960s. Whether it was a thing.
Was it Vietnam?
Well, it was World War II and the Civil Rights Movement. It was feminine. It was the feminist movement. Mm-hmm. It was those things that began to extract.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So it was a feminist movement that was waged by white women that black women turned into the wrong thing, or what?
Mm-hmm. The feminist movement was very instrumental in bringing black women out from their men.
Bringing women out from their men.
I ain't talking about white women.
I know, but I'm just saying.
So when I
just want to talk about black
people.
want
exactly.
Okay.
Of course,
black
you got white women who doing what.
It's an all black show.
I don't think that we had very much to do with making that movement happen.
With the feminist movement?
Yeah.
No. It was a CIA thing. But what I'm saying is, it was CIA. Oh yeah. What I'm saying is, that's another story. That's another thing. Gloria Steinem was CIA trained, and she was a very instrumental in the feminist movement,
right,
of the 60s and the 50s. That's just the way it was. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that yes, the 1920s up until the mid 1960s, it was the feminist movement. It was World War II. Mm-hmm. Those two things, because what happened is in society, women. Brother was talking the other day and last week, and we didn't get to it, but women were not in the workplace before World War II.
Right.
You were at home.
Period.
A guy couldn't walk up to you at the store and be like, "What's up? What's your name?" You get his head torn off.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
That's Bobby's wife.
Right. That was a.
Bobby Ray from Ludwig.
You dig? That was a thing. Mm-hmm. You stayed home until a man who was approved got you out of there and married you. Other than that, you were at home and you stayed there. And if you didn't get married, you were called a old maid
or Spencer.
Mm-hmm. And so,
at 30.
At 30,
yeah,
you ain't getting no time.
You were old
already.
It's almost time to die.
I know.
You weren't gonna live past
That's
40.
Too fast. That gives you
no
hope.
Yeah, and so man, so much. See, even that kind of dynamic right there has an effect even on women today.
I know,
Today,
generational.
but it comes like today. There's the way women see time.
Hurry,
okay,
you get a job.
And then that movement comes like, I'm not living like they did no more. You know what I mean? And then people start
a lot of trauma too.
Yeah,
we were like slaves to men in a sense because
we were property.
We were property, and they treated women as such, as a whole.
I mean, no question. I mean, because like I said, we only did what we saw the white man do.
True.
It ain't like it.
What else we have? But you understood when the white man treated you incorrectly or badly.
No, we didn't, because a lot of slaves didn't even look at themselves as slaves. They didn't want to leave the plantation. They didn't even want to go.
True.
So how you looked at freedom? We was free. They all the while working the master for nothing.
We'll go to the outside world. It's scary.
And if you're beaten every time you try to escape, that changes your mentality.
You're like, I can't function out here, so I need to go back.
Know us. He care about us. We go outside, and it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
You don't know who's gonna protect you or have you back or care.
And so that whole we were mentally jammed up.
Yeah.
It ain't like we somehow came out of this 365-year trauma and got some help.
Correct.
No, we haven't. We have not. They just said
it's very generational.
So black
women,
a lot of generational. Black women haven't either.
No, black women haven't either.
Haven't what either?
Gotten any help?
Oh,
I'm talking about culturally. I'm talking about as individuals. You come to see me.
Yeah, but I think now women. That's why I say I see a shift. I see a shift where people are wanting to be more aware.
Women are more progressive.
and that she. That she-ra and all that is not necessarily always coming from anger. It's like, I arrived. I'm here. I'm getting a piece or something like that.
Sometimes that shift, to me, the shift can be over-sexualized in a manner.
Yes, go ahead and talk about that.
It's so much. It's,
it always has
it doesn't have to, you can still be strong and a woman
and keep your clothes on.
Oh, well, absolutely.
One doesn't negate the other.
But you say that's a young thing, though. That's an immaturity and a thing you have to grow into.
It's grown women out here halfway
naked. 40-years that are like getting their best.
I don't, because I don't hang around women that don't keep their clothes on. But they're out there.
I'm sure they're out there.
They're out there,
though. But is this generally a younger thing?
I mean, but even if
with
it
the
is
culture,
well. It might be still in their 40s because, women are looking good longer.
So it's a cycle. What I'm saying, it's a younger thing and it's a cycle and it changes, right? Mm-hmm. And it's nothing different from when we were that age.
I mean, with the exception of it's just more out there now.
It's social media. We didn't have social media. We had to watch BET.
Yeah.
And
Friday night videos.
BET late night.
Friday night videos.
I don't know if y'all did that.
What?
Wait.
HBO when they had nakedness on it.
And Skinamax.
And we didn't have it. We didn't have
watch
HBO.
It through the scribbles. You had to watch it through the scribbles.
Yeah, you right.
Oh my God.
For real. We had to watch it through the scribbles. This is puberty.
Now it's puberty hitting.
What's the scribbles?
VHS tapes.
Oh no, we had them too.
But when you at grandma's house,
so I didn't know about that.
If you were at grandmother's house and all she had was USA up all night, or whatever, then you had to watch. And if you had HBO, or if you didn't have HBO, you had to watch through the scribbles. You can hear it.
You know where it's not really clear.
That's the best part.
It's not clear.
Where are we going with this?
No, right? I'm like,
Damn. But anyway, I'm sorry. Y'all just taught me something new. I'm at home looking at this.
Let's get a scribble.
Oh, it's different now. You can watch it clearly.
Okay.
Like back then,
order it and everything, stream it.
Homeboy, we call it Homeboy's office.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
it was a lot.
No, but we
there's
have
a lot of influences that are different.
They're different now, like we did a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But
like
you
people
can see other people doing it too. So your influence is changing every 5 minutes. You're scrolling.
Right. It's like if back when I was growing up in the 80s, I was a teenager in the 80s. Yeah. When I was doing that, I could have been like, yeah, the world is flat. And guess what would have happened? The earth is flat. And guess what would have happened? It would have just been me. But now I can put that on social media.
And have a discussion about
it. And a million people across the world can see it, join in, say, yeah, me too. And then they begin to move that thing like it becomes bigger because of that. Because now I can say something.
What? They got an endorsement. Okay. These kids, man.
Clickbait.
Yeah. You know what? And that's understand. I get it.
And it will also make you think when you read something that everyone believes that. Because it's written. Because as we have evolved and broadcasting and media has evolved. Remember, everything you've seen on TV was true.
Yeah.
It was the internet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now the internet is old TV.
Yeah.
And you see it written.
Everything.
It's like, well, how'd you get that written? Canva and all that stuff. Before everybody got on, it was like, well, you wrote that. That's written. It's true. It's the Bible.
Right.
So it's the internet is like TV now. Everybody believes whatever they
And it killed me, like if you send somebody something and then they hit you back with a fact checker. And I go, who fact checked the fact checker? You know what I mean? So now they said it.
Oh, no, they just brought out, they just came out. Well, they came out really. When they was talking about Facebook and the fact checkers, was like, they were just like, oh, it's just their opinion.
It is their opinion. That's what I'm saying.
The fact checkers.
I thought fact check meant you went and read something.
No, they wanted.
But where you reading it from?
Thinking. They want to influence your thinking, so they give you their opinion.
Exactly.
So they fact check you.
Think about it. You know, I'll be like, no, Eddie did have on a pink shirt. I fact checked it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or falsify something just because who really does that? Once they put that up there that say it's been flagged, you don't. I read. I be hidden. Let me see what it was about.
People don't research.
I be want to know.
Wins, so most people don't, and that's what lives as common narrative belief.
Correct.
So back to marriage.
It's prominent.
Back to marriage. If we had social media back in the day, it wouldn't matter. But because it wouldn't be no marriages.
Well, it wouldn't be because you knew what was going on with Ray.
And everybody's married.
Let me check up.
You and everybody's married.
Let me see. You think I'm saying? Yeah, it wouldn't have been none of that. But I mean, hell, it was still happening. But it was more. It was accepted because of several factors. Being women were in subjugated positions where you didn't have jobs, so women were oppressed, still are, then in a way that they aren't now because you didn't have this independence. You didn't have your own money or the ability to get your own money.
I think the oppression has changed faces. I think it's the same amount of oppression actually. I just think the oppression has changed faces. We're so I don't know, like we're oppressed to look a certain way. We're like every time you turn around, and I don't knock weave. I just don't wear it, but I don't knock it. But I feel like we're oppressed. We have to keep up this certain image. And I'm like, who created this image that you feel like you have to repeat all the time?
But see that right there? Still coming into what we're talking about. That's what I mean by culture and how it influences everything. It's not just, you don't wear weave. Mm-hmm. I remember when a woman wearing weave was being laughed at.
I remember it was just a ponytail.
Yeah, I remember that too. When I was growing up as a little boy, and they just put them on the side of their head.
You put the gel on.
Oh yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, old school ponytail.
Your hair texture didn't match the weave.
No, at all.
And you had a sock around it the whole.
Oh,
that's what weave was.
Yeah, I mean when you would get laughed at.
Yeah. I
remember, and I just saw a statistic. I think I said it last time. It was like when black women were not getting cosmetic surgery.
Correct.
Right.
It's been 800% jump since 1960. I mean 1997. I remember when they weren't even getting that.
Easily accessible.
I just want a new body type. Can we get a new body type?
I know, right? Instead, not the ant booty.
Little wasp, little stomach and booty thing.
The ant booty thing. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. You know what I'm saying?
Is it called the ant booty?
I call it ant booty.
It's like a little wasp body.
I
know. Now you think about it.
Wasp booty.
You ever look at bugs?
I know what you're talking about now.
Body they all got.
You know what? But you know what? Man. But anyway.
Wasp body. You heard it.
Wasp booty.
Wasp booty.
Ant booty. Listen, but so in the 1920s, when we were married,
unhappily.
or happily. Yeah, I'm sure there was a.
I'm here to say that most of those people were lying.
Oh, so a lot of those people were lying.
Because
wait a minute.
Lying about happiness of being married.
Happiness is
my great aunt, my great grandmother. First
they
of all,
were
my
mad,
great grandmother had 22 kids.
Damn.
What? Somebody was busy
with like 3 different men. 2 of them would circle back twice after 16
Don't
and 1
circle
after
back.
8. Like I was like, yo,
but that's
circle back.
What was y'all doing? Why would you?
Well,
come
we know
back
what
to
they
a
were
woman with
doing.
16 kids.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They don't make it like that no more. But what I'm saying is that, and then my great aunt, we just all found out through the older elders that just got tested that none of their fathers are who we thought was their father. So my aunt Sadie, who had, I'm sorry, I say name, who had all these kids, right?
Well, they might.
Had kids by a neighbor. Her husband was not producing or wasn't having kids. It was things that happened in what we grew up believing that didn't ever happen. It never happened.
And guess what? This is true.
So are we believing the truth about? Are we saying we broken off of truths, or like, do you know the real story? Were you there?
Right.
Did you get the real story?
Okay, and this is the thing. My whole thing is.
You might as well make it up now.
I'm trying to. Let me try it. No, there are things. There are things that in our lives. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I met, and this is gonna. I have to bring it back to what we were talking about. But I did meet this woman one time.
Who this woman?
Who this woman?
Who this woman?
And her sister introduced me to something I ran away from, which was incest.
One should run.
Their whole family.
Far away from that.
I mean, they had a family of people, but they were from Virginia.
And it's not far-fetched for those people.
And for them, it was a way of life. And the thing that tripped me out even the most is me and my boy was at this party they took us to their family out in the woods.
Oh, wow.
Was
getting creepier every about a moment.
Oh, it's creepy. No, you had to drive out there.
All I see is campfires.
Right, and blood and goats and stuff.
Moonshine.
Yeah.
Why would you go?
Man, listen, I was in my 20s.
Did you drink something out of a wooden bowl?
I didn't know. You know what? No. You know what? And they didn't come out of curtains and had like little things on their head. But they just seemed like normal people. But they were like the United Nations up in that mug.
Yeah, I bet.
But guess what though? The head of the family, you know he was white though. And the girl who I know, they were twins, make it so bad. When she was telling me about it, and then her aunt came over there and she was telling me all about it, pointed to him, I forgot his name, and was proud. This was the nuttiest. Trust me, and my boy, I was like, bro, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and it's all black out there, but I'm getting on this road. They were proud of the fact that his family used to own them.
Don't do that.
Anyway, the point I'm making
don't
is
do that. Don't be proud of that.
You got some crazy out here, and you got some things that happen in as we then went crazy.
And then I always say, you end up meeting him, or your child meets him and date him, or vice versa, a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you really think about that, even when you watch movies and you see, and you're like, that was crazy. You know what I mean? But these kids, kids grow up in adults, and when they don't get the help they need, this could be somebody that you done had kids with. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why I'm like, people, of course, as a culture, we want people to embrace therapy and get the help you need. And I don't know how much, like, we need to normalize that more than it's being seen. Yeah, I'm saying, like, it's a lot of change that happened, and it's a lot, and it's a lot, and I'll probably be dead and gone. But let's push that.
I think that what would help too, because I'm about resolution. Like, you can talk about things for so long before you have to start doing something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that what would be healthy is that every time someone poses a question, or not every time, but just be mindful of, and what can we do about it?
Yeah, we ain't got there yet, but I want to go.
Well, not with us.
No,
I'm just
even
saying,
with us, because I got something.
Off of her. Yeah, this too.
I got something because I got some stuff, and I think that. I want to kind of get back to where we went off onto some other stuff.
Okay.
But it's cool because if we're living in a society, black men and women, there is a social mechanism that has propelled or pushed black women further. It is not. Listen, when I say further. I'm gonna just use one statistic. I'm gonna just use one, and it's one that that a lot of people were very proud of just a couple of years ago, and it was talking about. And I'm just gonna use one out of about 3 or 4. where it's talking about black women being the most educated class in America, yet the world. Black women in America, most educated. That's just one. Which turns into the most employable, which turns into having money, as opposed to black men who were right below, as far as education, I think it was equal to Hispanics. It was white, it was black women, white women, Asians in America, and then Hispanic and blacks.
When you take black men, you have to take a general average, right? All the black men through all the different facets of black men, the genres of black men, right? Mm-hmm. So that's prison. That includes prison. Excuse me, y'all. Mm-hmm. Right?
What do you mean?
I don't understand the question. The average of black men. Get my drink. That includes the average of everyone, all black men.
Well, we're talking about, basically, when this statistic, when you look at the statistics of educated, mm-hmm. we're talking about free people, okay. Not incarcerated men, because they don't have the same statistics. Their statistics is incarcerated males. You know what I'm saying? Okay. They don't have the education, blah, blah, blah. But you have, and just in that, just being the most educated class, mm-hmm. by far, meaning by far, mm-hmm. It ain't just educated class of black men. This is the educated class of everybody in America, black women, which in turn make you more employable, education, as well as being a double minority. You're black and you're a woman. Right. When that happens, on many levels, not just employee, but then guess what ends up being affected?
The dynamics in our house.
That too. Well, that's the third thing.
Oh, okay.
But entrepreneurship, because what ends up happening is, as an educated woman, what you're able to do now is you fashion that into getting like government contracts and being
employing business, others,
and employing others, so forth and so on. So that right there now, economics, and that begins to change the social dynamics between men and women. Because guess what?
You're in charge.
You got the money.
Yeah.
You dig? So now when I say stuff like, I ask this question, because like I said, I don't generally think in terms of that black women have left black men behind, but I still like to unpack these type of things because I like to get to the things that we're talking about, which if you're going to look at the economic impact that impacts the social aspect, now is impacting how we deal with each other. Mm-hmm. Is impacting how you looking at me or perceiving me.
Mm-hmm. And vice versa.
Of course, because now you got. Because I heard one of my brothers
off of something, and you like she's providing for
like
something
you got
I think I'm supposed to be doing, so you feel a certain type of way.
Now you got that. Brother, the other night we had our thing. Y'all weren't here, and my man was like, he said that women don't understand that I'm the prize. The man. I didn't agree with that for many reasons, but I think the reasoning was because, as one of the other brothers was talking about, was how the quality men are. They don't have a lot of them. My thought, as I said to y'all the other week, is I always think that women will meet, that men will meet more good women than women will meet good men.
Already done.
Because it's more of y'all. It's more good women than it is good men. And the dynamics of our social, the things that have happened, I went back and I was going back to the marriage, prior to 1964 and all these type of things. But there's a society that has been structured in creating a class of men, black men, that are really no good to anybody. How did that happen? There are things that happen in that percent. Economics, take all the jobs out of the cities. Racial prejudice, of course, against black men, rampant. It was institutional. It was institutional in the what you call them things when they get together, in the unions. The unions were put together primarily, it wasn't to get people rights. It was to get white men jobs because they weren't skilled. Black men were skilled. Black men knew how to hammer. They knew how to carpet. They knew how to wall. White folk, they had slavery. They didn't know anything about that. Right. But we knew. So they built unions in order to keep us out. So that right there metastasized. And then next thing you know, about 1964, black men was on the street.
In droves.
But they told black women, you ain't got to be.
And if you allow that black man to stay in your house, we
won't take everything. So see, this is what I'm saying. So when you're looking at the society that began to propel black women, there's a mentality that says that makes us go this way, because now you have to look at your own survival. Like, wait a minute, if I have him, I'm not going to be able to get this, and then you teach your children that. You teach your girls.
But then you complain about not having one. Like it doesn't make sense.
Then complain about not having it, but then guess it doesn't make sense. But it's a mentality that begs the question for me. When black women, and I'm saying black women because I'm interested in black women.
Oh, that was aggressive.
You know,
who are we talking to? An audience of one?
Oh no, this is an audience of audience.
Jeez.
But it's just that what happens is I want black women to understand when you hear this, it is more than you might understand at this point. It's a defense of you. But in order to do that, we have to see where we are. Because like I said, the black woman to me is the standard.
I have so many.
So many. But anyway, let me finish this point. So society has propelled black women to a position that, relative to black men, is evolved into a place that is basically ahead. Okay. Now, the attitude that comes with that, is it F y'all niggas?
It's based on the way they've been treated.
And the music,
their experience,
and the movies, and everything else. That
so it's not even us.
It's not.
It don't come from our community. It comes from outside of us. Is that because when you say the movies, the music?
No,
I'm talking about our own music.
Yeah,
our black experience.
We can only talk about what we've experienced as women with black men. You guys have had more majority black women who were good, and we cannot say the same.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Right.
So even though
this is what we say in retrospect.
We're hanging around or leaving, we haven't necessarily been treated as, the standard or something you want, or when you have it, you treat it right as black men, by black men, by the men that we try to support. So us leaving, if that's the belief.
Gotta look within.
Do you think that maybe that's smart?
What is smart?
Like to leave. Or to say, you know what, maybe I should just try to figure out what can make me happy. Because obviously, a black woman would never walk away unless she felt like she wasn't wanted.
Right.
Never. Never.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
How many black women have left you? Mm-hmm. It's just not the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
So our trust has been eaten away, because of whatever reasons. There's 1,000
different reasons, absolutely.
Right. But at the end of the day, we have gone through this experience together, and we have had different experiences in it. And black women are here, and black men feel like we have to attack, or they have to attack us, or we are always like this. Black women are against them; they feel like we're against them, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this whole construct of, we talked about this last segment of monogamy, and that construct, and how that might work for one of the parties in the relationship.
People usually can't count when it comes to stuff like that.
You know, but not so much the other part.
The math gets,
you know, and it does. And I'm not saying gender wise who it would work for. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying we live under a lot of constructs that we didn't come up on our own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not helping us at all. Mm-hmm. Because
so we need another one.
We don't need another
construct.
You
just need to have your own.
We need to create something within ourselves that says, hey, if this is you and I, these are the things that we might live by. That doesn't mean Susie and Shirley and
we don't judge. We're not pushing them.
They may not live like
so
that. Or live
unified, but not uniform.
I think unified if black men would have some type of narrative to just say, we understand. We understand. We've pushed you to some limits. We pushed buttons, and we've done some things. We've been under a certain amount of pressure, and we've reacted this way, and it's made you feel this way. In turn, black women are doing things and acting out in a way they're reactive. Women are mostly reactive.
Correct.
So we're reacting in a way because we don't feel wanted by our own men.
Or we don't trust.
Or we don't trust our own men.
Correct.
So this is a cycle thing. It's not what we've come up with. Because generally women are nurturers and we take care of things and we grow things. Even
so whatever we've been through, we still are nurturing.
If that's not happening in a relationship, I'm not saying there aren't some women out there that are not for blood, but for the most part, I'm always like, I have a lot of male friends. What did you do? What did you not do? Because that's the part you're not telling me. Mm-hmm. You missed a step. And now she's giving you this attitude and you're not taking responsibility for that.
Right. Correct.
That's all.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you would, as a general thing, say we understand and let's have this conversation.
Okay. I've heard that before. I think too, though, one of the things is,
come on,
advocate.
Come on.
No. Yes, I understand, but I think understanding is, to me, is a key issue. But
and that's if you want to understand.
Well, some people don't.
Yeah.
That's
if you want to understand.
But you understand when something that you don't like happens
that benefits
to
you.
So you understand.
I think my point is that it's bilateral. It's not just me understanding.
No. Correct. We're talking about men in general, black men.
I don't mean me. I'm talking about black women too.
Yeah.
When I say bilateral, I'm talking about both. Because there have been times, like I said, I have met, I think, more good, I'm gonna use the word good, black women that I've attracted in my life than what I would think would be quote unquote bad. However, even in those exchanges, even with those people, there's sometimes misunderstanding.
Sure.
So in that micro dynamic, you're still talking about you understanding too. You dig what I'm saying? Like, listen, look, don't think it's all you. Like, you can't be accountable for what your fucked up shit.
Absolutely.
So I understand. I get, in my view, when it comes to black men, I think my thing with us is, and I say this to the world, I say this to people, period. And that is, I want to get 5 more minutes, y'all, if y'all don't mind. And that is, as a black man, I look at us as being dead.
You look at black men as being dead?
As being dead.
Okay.
Meaning.
In this time, like right now?
Culturally, generally. And I look at black men as dead. Like.
Why?
Because what we, and I say generally, I mean, of course you have some in segments who are stirring or whatever, but as it concerns the culture, what we are giving it, what we are giving to black women, what we are doing to black women, how we are dealing with black women, I think that is dead. Because when I'm looking at, is I see some guys who are, they cool, some upwardly mobile. I know several, But again, I'm not talking about segments. I'm talking about people that actually move the culture.
So you're saying like the majority?
I'm saying the majority, but I'm saying when I say it's like I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of a small group that hold a lot of power. Like you have like Jewish people. They're a small group, but they move the world. They're a small group. So we have a small segment of black men that have influence in music, in politics. And they have this influence and they move it, to me, in a negative way when it comes to black women. There is no such thing. I know marriage, as we talked about it, is what it is. But there is no real focus on black men being family men. To be with family. This is my family.
There is a movement for that, right?
There's a movement.
I mean, what do you mean?
What I mean, I'm talking about the larger culture. Because of course I can pull out several people. I know some people in my personal life. They ain't what I'm talking about.
As a whole.
I'm not talking about my personal life or your personal life. I'm talking about there's a reason why when you see negative things happen in our world, in our culture, there's a reason why that happens. It ain't like because, well, I'm not doing it. It ain't got nothing to do with you. There's a culture that's moved by a segment of the people. And I'm talking about as far as black men are concerned, of course you have a segment of black men who are positive and all this. Of course. I look at LeBron James, for example. I don't know. He might be cheating on Savannah like a mug. I don't know. But he appears to be a good family man. Okay. I know Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. You understand what I'm saying? But, he still seems to love his family. You dig? You have that, yes. But if our culture is all about ratchetness, selling your
whatnots
and stuff, and this is what is influencing the masses, the babies that's coming up. To me, that's a negative motivation. To me, that leads us further down the road of all the things that we don't want. Men who don't want monogamy, men who lie, this is what's promoted. This is what we do. When you go out into the world, this is what you see. I go into a gas station, I see magazines. I literally did this, looked at all of them. Because in some form or fashion, there was something sexual.
All the time.
So the influences that we have, especially as far as men, because you get the same influences, but I'm a male, and mine is aggressive. Your nature is subtle, whether you show some aggression or not, but that's not your nature. Your nature is subtlety. My nature is aggressive. So when I get something, I turn it into aggression. So yeah, you getting all these things about sex, so it becomes more aggressive. And so yes, these are the signals that we're getting as a culture. And I think that those are negative signals as far as our women, in my view. And I'm gonna let y'all get the last words. If the world will change, if black people, in terms of our relationships, and I know this is gonna sound like a lot of responsibility, but it ain't gonna be us.
What do you mean?
It ain't gonna be black men. It's the because men generally, why would I want to change something if it's working for me? At least I'm thinking it's working. I'm out here getting all the nothing, really getting nothing. But it's the status quo. We are not interested in changing it. When I have clients, it be women coming to me. Therapists that I know, it be women that want to come. It don't be the men don't be want to go.
Men don't ever want to talk.
And so the thing is that, but not just talk, but also want to find some
change
type of
dynamic.
Positive change. It's you.
Because it's not face value. That once again, it's that face value. We're always looking for someone to change to what we want them to be.
Or organizations that can push towards, like I know, like Hugh Parker has Brothers United, You have other, organizations. My girlfriend has one, Fatherless Generation, where she connect fathers back with their, just more people doing things that will move the involvement of people. I mean, that's all we can do. It's almost like, we got to leave what we got. Hopefully our kids will leave something and vice versa. It's always going to be us. I think people like us here. It's just a matter of making this the majority.
The majority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what my brand is about. It's about people dating. It started from basic. Our community is broken. How do we change that? Household by household, relationship by relationship, thinking about what you do in a relationship and how you date, because it's not a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And being just being intent about that, it's just a different way of thinking. So that's what.
But like you said, those are still segments of people. The majority.
Well, getting that to the majority, to a norm, to normalize that is what I want to do.
The problem, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that. I think the issue, that's just like when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted to change, the civil rights.
But it has to start somewhere.
And it started, and look still where we are.
Yeah, but you got to just.
And I'm not saying it hasn't. But racism is rampant. It's still rampant.
Yeah.
It's still, and I'm not by any means taking away from the civil rights movement.
Sure.
You understand? Because it's gotten us to where we are. I think the issue is, like you said, it's not going to be black men that change it. I don't think it's going to change, period. I think we are, and I'm not negative. I'm just realistic. I think we're all still going down, I think we're going down a rabbit hole. Correct, with what we hear on the radio, what we hear in the news. I can't ever turn on CNN, and I love CNN. I love all the people on CNN, but it's negative news.
Driven.
It's negative driven.
That's news, period.
That's
First
just news.
25 minutes is
it's just
that.
Negative news, and at the end of the day, that's not going to change because that's what drives.
It's never going to change.
I mean, I think the world, and I'm going to try to have this in 30 seconds. I think the world. No, I mean, I go this way on that. I know that another world is coming. This is not it. This world is on the way out. It has to go to the apex of its negativity in order to then change.
Go to the next level.
The change is coming. It's just that it may not happen in our lifetime. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't think it has.
It starts with women.
Is coming.
We got 30
seconds. Metaverse is coming.
I think it's inevitable.
The metaverse.
That's all I got to say about that. That's going to be a whole new type of social media type situation and problems that come with that. But I don't know. I think that it's possible. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I try to stay. Yeah, I try to stay optimistic because the other. I'm telling you, because anything else is like, can I change it? Nope. Yes. Whatever.
If you don't think you can, you won't.
Because if you don't, you would be at home depressed, like, oh my God.
Well, no, not essential. Not essential. I feel like even if you know you can't change it, you can still live your life and still say, okay, well, someone might be watching me and they might make the change on their
that's
own.
what I mean. Yeah.
Am I gonna force you and sit here and talk to you 20 hours for you to change? Absolutely not. I don't care that much.
To change will catch on.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's who you want.
Correct.
Because you need their energy.
But you still have to live your life and stop rearranging it around. Okay, let me make sure 5 people change over here. No, if they want to change,
that might be your mission.
But I'm here to inspire you to change.
Right. Because like I said, the change is already on its way. I think. I don't think I'm doing. I don't think I'm making any change. I think the change is already on its way. It has little to do with me. I'm just a part of the dynamic or the change that's going on.
Be a part of the change, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm just
okay. Yes, I don't think I can do that.
We'll be a part of it.
Be a part of that change, Instagram people.
Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up, Matt, because we could actually do this a lot more. But thank y'all for coming.
You're welcome.
I hope to see more of you soon. I hope to see more of you. I just put it like that because there's so much more to this, and I think that I'm just kind of starting.
Yeah.
And I want to just kind of like break ground, and now see, like I have material now that I can break up and then be like, okay, let's deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So this is just the beginning. So I want to thank y'all for coming.
Metaverse.
Metaverse is a whole nother whatever. Thank you.
See me on the metaverse? I was hanging out with Jay-Z.
No,
I'm just playing. That's what people gonna tell.
Thank you, Eddie B.
You're welcome.
And Lisa P.
Hey.
And Stacy J. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining me, and hopefully we'll see y'all another time on Masculine Militia. You can catch us at Son of Man, like Sun in the Sky, of Man. What else I got? YouTube, Masculine Militia, and AlicinaWorldMedia.com. You can go there and get updated on all things.
Yeah.
You can add all your stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm Eddie. My @ is Eddie Home and Life Unstyled. That's my main page. And then my dating app, please follow me on my dating and relationship app. We have events for singles and just, fly people.
Tell us more.
Yes.
It's called Eddie_offline. Eddie_offline. I got a lot of jokes on my page, but, it gets serious. That's me over there.
Oh, well, I'm at over here. Over here. Hey, here.
Look at you.
It got
cameras. Lights, cameras. Okay, get sultry with it. Get sultry. Okay.
Come see Eddie B.
Bring cash.
All right.
Yes.
I can be found at It's Skin Life. It's ITSSKINLIFE. My skincare line. You can follow me there, and my personal page is The Real Stacy J.
And last but not least, no. What is my thingy? My @ is Lisa the Vegan Heathen.
All right, Heathen.
The Heathen. The
vegan heathen.
Lisa the Vegan Heathen. Okay.
I like
come
like
check
that.
us out.
Sounds like something I could do.
Come fellowship, if you will, and we'll catch you soon. Whatever cameras we're looking at.
Right.
Okay. Hello.
All right. Thank y'all. Back here. See, now we're back at this one. Thank you very much. We love you, and we hope to see you soon. Peace and hair grease.
All
right.